everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast. It is Friday, so here's all of your retro handhelds, retro gaming, and gaming news. This is probably the longest newscast that I will ever do. Well, at least from stories. There is a ton to talk about. So let's just jump right in before I waste any more time. Azahar version 21.25.1 is now out, and this is a minor release, according to them. Looking at the changelog as far as Android goes, and it looks like they're going to be using Vulkan as the default renderer now on all builds. Just be aware, there are some games like Fire Emblem Awakening that are broken under Vulkan, for text at least. So you want to use OpenGL for those. I hope that they'll add per game settings pretty soon, because we really are going to start to need that. We kind of need it now, but that would be the next thing that I'm hoping they're adding. I haven't seen any news about it, but per game settings is a necessity at this point. Otherwise, it looks like there's a bunch of bug fixes and things like that. So that was the only real big change, at least for Android users and for everybody else. Do you like retro achievements? Do you like FPGA? Well, there's going to be retro achievements on FPGA, and it's already here. There is a new project by Odin, not sure if I'm saying that right, but they have added retro achievements to FPGA cores. So as of right now, looks like Game Boy, Nintendo 64, NES, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, and Genesis and Mega Drive are all supported. And that is pretty cool. I don't know if you have a Mister. I don't know if you have the one that Taki made from Retro Remake. I don't know if you have an Analog Pocket. Well, Analog Pocket wouldn't work because there's no internet. But yeah, if you have a Mister and you have Wi-Fi and you want to check out some retro achievements on FPGA, they're there. And for those of you wondering why this might be important, FPGA has a lot better input latency as well as accuracy when it comes to emulation. While there are some cores missing things like cheats and fast forward and save state, some of them do have it at least. This is very cool, very interesting, and I'm excited to see how this progresses. Winlator 11.0 Final is now out, and I'm not even going to pretend to know what any of the words mean in a Winlator release. Look, when it comes to Game Native and Game Hub and Winlator, and they have all these different things that they're talking about in releases, I don't know what they're talking about here. But anyways, Winlator 11.0 is out. It's a big update. Looks like they've added a whole bunch of different things, improving the UI, added a whole bunch of experimental things, added options to install components, added or updated Mesa Turnip drivers for it, and a whole bunch more. So if you are still using Winlator, you probably want to update and check it out. There is a new NetherSX2 fork made by Nick Stewart. I'm going to go Nick Stewart. I'm pretty sure that's what they're trying to go for with their name. But anyways, they made a fork of NetherSX2, adding Adreno Turnip driver support. What that means is if you want to use custom drivers with this NetherSX2 build, you can. There's also some differences here. They've removed the restriction on package names, so you can install this alongside other options for NetherSX2 if you want to just try this out. And Vulkan is now the default renderer. They've removed annoying warnings of should not be sold and all that sort of thing. But long story short, you can use actual custom drivers with NetherSX2 now on Android. Now, I spoke to Trix, who is the developer for NetherSX2, and he said that he's probably going to be implementing this or doing it himself. So if you want to try this out, you can. I think, from my understanding, talking to Trix, that this is going to be in another update or a new update to NetherSX2 if you want to wait for that. But this is cool. I don't know what exactly the upgrades will be by using custom drivers here. Some games, according to Nick, Sly 2 was improved at a 2x resolution, but we don't know. So it all depends. Is it going to be like Dolphin, where it wasn't massive differences? Or is it going to be like Azahar, where it could be massive differences? We don't know. But if you want to try it out, you can. Shad PS4, the PS4 emulator on PC, version 0.15.1 is now out. And with it comes multi-controller support. So you can actually do up to 4 different controllers on Shad PS4. Also, there is multi-user support. So if you want to create up to 16 accounts, similar to a PS4, you absolutely can. There's a big picture mode. And there's also little multi-language trophies. So if you haven't used Shad PS4, I've done a guide on it. You can check it out if you want. It is still early days, of course. A lot of games don't boot, a lot of games don't work, but you can play a bunch of games as well. So it's up to you if you want to check it out, but Shad PS4 got an update. I'm not sure where to file this under, but I have long since talked about my issues with PlayStation 1 emulation because of all the different things. You have DuckStation standalone, which you can't use SyncThing for, and also has M3U file oddities. Then you have SwanStation, the RetroArch core, which has issues with upscaling on lower end devices, as well as even more powerful devices. You'll find it in Final Fantasy and Xenogears and all of that. So I've been on the lookout for an alternative PlayStation 1 option, and I've tried Beetle, I've tried a whole bunch of different things. Looks like you can build your own Goosestation libretro core based off the current DuckStation. There's a user, Huponic, that has some instructions here on how you can basically create your own core based off of the current DuckStation, and it'll apparently work for Linux. It says no Windows support. I don't know about Android. I tried to build this myself because you do have to compile it, and I had a hell of a time. It didn't work. But I also don't have an Arch Linux machine to do this on. I tried Windows Arch WSL, and it didn't work for me. So, long story short, if you do want to try a new PS1 emulator core based off of current DuckStation, which theoretically should be the best PS1 core that you could get, then you should try this and you could check it out if you have a Linux device. I really want to try this and see how it is, but I couldn't get it working. So let me know if you do get it working on a Windows device so I can replicate whatever you did. Pixel Guide version 1.0 is now out, and this is an app for the AYN Thor. What it does is it lets you play or show guides on the bottom screen while you're playing a game on the top. So they basically incorporate an app that searches for guides, and it makes them nice and easy to display on the bottom screen. With this update, they've added theme support, so there's a bunch of different themes that you can do. They've added support for Excel files for whatever reason. You can download PDF manuals via Screen Scraper. You can fit the PDF guides to screen. HTML and text guides are now available to adapt to theme colors, and there's a whole bunch of other things. Now, I tried this out a while ago. I need to get back to this. It's been a while, but it displays guides on the bottom screen and it finds it on the internet and makes it all look pretty. Pretty good stuff for the Thor. Last of the software news, and it is RPCS3 has finally added something that I've been waiting for a long time. Basically, they have a config database online in their wiki that tells you per game settings that you should use for per specific games. Well, they've added the ability to download those automatically now. So what that means is it should be like a known fix for a game that gets automatically applied now when you boot up that game. All this means is it should improve compatibility with things that you had to do manually yourself. You no longer need to do, as it should just automatically do it. I gotta be honest, RPCS3 in the last few weeks have been doing major upgrades. It's been awesome. That UI handheld mode, as well as this, pretty cool stuff. So you should update if you haven't. Okay, so question of the week. What is your favorite box art? I know a lot of you are playing around with front ends more than games and all that, so you see a lot of box art and all that. What is your favorite box art? For me, I think a lot of it is tied to the games that I have nostalgia for, or like games that I love, as opposed to games that like I don't know, but the artwork looks cool. I always go back to Breath of the Wild box art for some reason. I think it's just perfect. It perfectly encapsulates what Breath of the Wild is. Like you have Link just standing there on this big mountain, and it's just an open area that he's looking over. And it's just, that is Breath of the Wild, right? Like you start off the game that way and you can go wherever you want. So for me, that is one. I do love Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red, their covers. Just something about them. I guess it's about the time or whatever it is, and buying Pokemon Blue as a kid for the first time. But it's just Blastoise on the front, and it's awesome. I don't know. And like, I don't think a lot of people would agree, but I think it's an awesome cover. And then it's minimal, but Super Mario World or Super Mario 3, I think. Either of those. And for no reason. Like, they're just minimal, and it's just perfect. Like on Super Mario World, you have Super Mario on Yoshi with its cape and everything, and that's cool. Or with Mario 3, it's just the Cat Mario, not Cat Mario, whatever it is. Cat Mario. I'm calling it Cat Mario. Cat Mario doesn't fly. Why don't I know what it actually is? It a raccoon? No. What is it? Hold on. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. You run a retro handheld YouTube channel? You don't even know what it's called? Mario 3 suits. What is it Tanuki? Is that what the actual name is? The Tanuki suit. Yeah. And raccoon suit. But now which one is it? On this cover, he's using the Tanuki suit, I think. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm leaving this in. You can yell at me in the comments. It's fine. I can take it. Those are my three, if I had to pick right now. But I think Breath of the Wild wins. What is your actual favorite box art? Let me know in the comments. Jumping over into device news now, and we have an update from AYN on the AYN Thor and Odin 3. Basically, they are in the process of fulfilling the previous batches. They're going to be opening up the next round of batches, which is batch 6 for the Thor, as well as Odin 3 batch 7. Now, the bad news. Following the recent surge in DRAM pricing, as we all know, they are having a difficult time with the UFS storage. If you don't know, the Thor is UFS 4.0 for every SKU except for the light one, if I remember correctly. Well, going forward, they are all going to be UFS 3.1, including the Odin 3. What this means is it is an obvious downgrade from 4.0 to 3.1. Along with that, the price is being increased. So the price of the Thor Max is going to $549 US. And they're also going to be introducing a new configuration, a 16 gigabyte RAM version with 512 storage, priced at $469. So, long story short, we're going to be seeing a lot of this, and we are seeing a lot of this across different companies. But this sucks, because what this means is now there are going to be two versions of the Thor out there. And when you go through the used market, you're now going to be like asking the person, is this the UFS 4.0 or the 3.1 version? Because a lot of people are going to be trying to go for that 4.0 version. Is there a noticeable difference between 3.1 and 4.0? I'm not here to tell you yes or no because I haven't tested it, so I don't know. If anything, it should affect loading times and caching and things like that. Could you tell? Probably not, but that's just a guess. This sucks either way. I mean, it's either they do this or they raise the price even more. So I see where they're coming from. I don't know if there's a good answer to any of this. Like, this is just the market we live in now. But it sucks. And yeah, I didn't know the Odin 3 was on batch 7. How many of you guys are buying the Odin 3? That's a lot of Odin 3s. But the Thor is batch 6. I have to imagine the batch numbers aren't the same for each of them. Like, it's probably like thousands for the Thor and probably hundreds for the Odin 3, or maybe little thousands for the Odin 3. There's no way they're matching because the Odin 3 wouldn't outsell the Thor. So I would love to know what the batch sizes are. If you know that information, you tell me. Otherwise, yeah, that is the update from AYN on all of this. So if you haven't bought a Thor or an Odin 3, it sucks. This sucks. This is not great, but this is the market that we live in now, unfortunately. OneXPlayer has announced, up for order, a new Super V gaming workstation laptop handheld. This is a pop-off tablet / keyboard. And I forget what their other one was called that they have of this. It's the Super X. Yes, Super X is the other one that's called. This is the Super V because it is using an Intel processor instead. The Intel processor is the new, or not new, Intel 358H processor. And it's a 48 gigabyte, 1 terabyte version for $1,900 US. So if, for whatever reason, you don't want a Z-Flow or Flow Z13 and you don't want the Super X, you have a Super V now that you can buy from OneX. Anbernic has released another video on their Anbernic RG Rotate, which I guess is the name now. I like RG Square better. I'm going to call it the RG Square still. They are doing a whole big thing of making this look like a watch. Although if you look at the video, this thing is way bigger than any watch I've ever seen. But yeah, this is the Rotate from them. It is the swivel one that swivels up and they're doing their thing where they are advertising it. I guess we are getting closer to the release of whatever this is. I don't know. One big thing that's missing here that everybody noticed is the no headphone jack. So I know a lot of people are trying to buy this because they don't have phones and they want another device to play MP3s on, but there's no headphone jack. You can, of course, use probably a USB-C to 3.5, but yeah, no headphone jack. This thing looks big, way bigger than I thought it would in the video, but I don't know. I guess if you want to call it pocketable, I don't know that I would. Looking at the video, like, it looks a lot smaller or a lot bigger than I figured it would be. But anyways, RG Rotate, new video. Check it out if you're interested. Lenovo is in the news for the awesome news of discounting their handheld quite a bit. No, wrong year for that. Their Legion Go 2 is now almost $3,000. That's the news. So the Legion Go 2, since its release, has had a rough time. Going from the release, which wasn't really a release, where they had no stock, to when they finally got stock, the price went up, to the price going up again, to the price now going to almost $3,000 US. I don't have a lot to say about this. This is absolutely stupid. I can't even, there's nothing good for me to say here. I don't know how this gets to $3,000. The Xbox Ally X is still nowhere near that. It's gone up in price, but not that much. I don't know what Lenovo's doing, and they tend to do this a lot, but it costs more than a OneXPlayer Apex, which you'd be completely stupid to buy a Legion Go 2 over a OneXPlayer Apex or a GPD Win 5 or whatever. So yeah, Legion Go 2 is $3,000. I don't want to meet the person who buys that. That's all I got for this one. MagicX has a bunch of news here, so let me see if I can parse it out. Basically, the original 2 Dream Pro and 2 Dream Lite devices that they had were going to release, but because of what's happening in the market, they are now just delayed indefinitely. That doesn't mean they're not coming out. That means they're waiting for prices to drop before actually releasing these devices. And so right now, you have MagicX just talking a lot about what's going on. They released a video on the MagicX 2 Dream, just showing them playing some games. So if you want to check that out, but I don't know, we are still months away from any sort of release. But right now, they're basically just waiting for the prices to drop so that they can actually release these devices. They did say that the price original was going to be for the 2 Dream Lite, $89 for the 3GB RAM, 32GB storage version. That was using the G99 Helio processor. Or the 2 Dream Pro with the MediaTek D7300 was going to be $125. I think those prices would have been good, but yeah, that's not the case. They do say those prices were from December, and obviously now everything has increased several times over, so they can't do those prices anymore. Long story short, we are not going to be seeing anything from MagicX for a while now, until the market slows down. And I don't blame them for this one. I mean, I wouldn't want to release a device now anyways. I don't think you need to release a device now anyways. Obviously, this is, if there's a company that needs to release a device to stay afloat, then that is a whole different story. They're going to do it. Like Retroid is going to be releasing devices. AYN is going to be releasing devices. Anbernic is going to release devices. They're all going to release devices, just not as many as we would have expected. Now, you might be thinking that sucks, but let me offer a different perspective on that one. I think it's pretty good. Look, I've said this was one of the questions of the week a long time ago. Is there anything you're missing? Like, legitimately, let's take a look at a bird's eye view of the current market of Android handhelds or Linux handhelds, whatever. Are you really missing anything that you don't have? No. Right now, you should be playing a whole bunch of games because there's no devices coming out and you don't need anything else. So yeah, play some things. What also that means is, hopefully, this is my pie in the sky hope, that by the fact that they are not releasing devices, the devices that they are working on should be perfect, right? Like, they should be able to spend a lot more time on whatever devices they are working on to make them perfect. So that should theoretically mean a better product for us whenever those devices release. Because if during all of this, they still release a device that is half-assed, half-broken, whatever, there's no excuse at this point. Really, there is no excuse. You have all the time in the world. There's nothing happening. We can't afford whatever device you're going to release anyways because it's going to be too expensive. So if you're putting out something, it's got to be perfect. If it isn't, then whatever. And yeah, we're off on a tangent here because of MagicX's story, but I mean, it's something I've wanted to talk about for a while now. A lot of people might be sad that there's no releases this year. No, you should be happy. Play some games. You have everything you need. All the devices are out there now. We were stuck at this point anyways. This year would have been super boring for releases based off of where we're at. So just play some games. That's it. Don't worry too much about all of this. Whenever they get back to releasing their devices and asking for our money, then we'll talk about it again. But for now, just enjoy your devices. And after all of that, OneXPlayer is teasing a new device called the X2 Mini. This is going to have the Strix Halo Max Plus 395 processor inside, as well as an 8.8-inch OLED screen. Now, we don't know anything about the screen as of yet. I don't believe it has VRR, and I don't believe it's the Legion Go 2 screen. All we know is it's OLED. However, we do know the controllers are detachable. So I guess they're going for like a Legion Go 2 competitor with a Strix Halo inside of it. I laughed at this one because they're calling it the Mini, but it is bigger than the Apex is. So I don't understand why do we have these naming conventions? Why is it Mini when it is bigger than the already bigger Apex device? I don't know. This is not going to have a built-in battery. It'll have an external battery again, which I think is smart. But yeah, X2 Mini from OneXPlayer is going to be coming pretty soon. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out. I don't have an interest in this. Detachable controls is like the furthest thing of what I want on a handheld. And 8.8 inches going bigger than an Apex is also what I don't want. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that are interested in this. So keep an eye out if you want it. Continuing with the theme of devices still coming out, but going after all of my rant, TrimUI Brick Pro is coming pretty soon. And this is just a TrimUI brick with sticks. It's a brick with sticks. We don't know what the other specs are. We can only guess. Now, all we have here is just a box art. So is this one of your favorite box arts? Let me know in the comments. It's just a TrimUI Brick Pro in a box, and it's just showing what that looks like. So all this means is it's coming pretty soon. We'll know specs and all of that pretty soon. There was guesses in the comments, but I'm not going to post that. We'll wait to see what the actual specs are, and then we'll talk about it. Jumping back to AYN now, and Odin 3, as well as their older devices, now have Linux support, as well as Linux updates. What that means is, according to their GitHub and all of that, Odin 3's mainline port for Linux current status supports a whole bunch of different things. What it doesn't support, or what isn't working, is the mic and mic headset and Rumble. But I don't actually know what this means. I just know that this could make things easier for Linux development. So if you want Linux on one of these devices, then AYN is helping to make that happen, I guess. But yeah, that's all I know for now. Just if you're interested in what all this is, you can check out their GitHub. They have all of that there, and you can see what they're doing with Linux. Last of the device news, and OnePlus, not One X, because I get them confused, is teasing a new handheld, and they just have some images of it on in like an advertising thing. I am very confused by this one. It shows that there's going to be like a cooling attachment that you can add on the back, which is okay. Looks like there's triggers or whatever. But then one of the pictures shows them doing some claw grip type thing that looks like it's using touchscreen. But a controller isn't touchscreen, so I don't know unless they meant those are sticks. But I don't know. Do you use sticks that way? Who holds a controller this way? I don't know. They're teasing something. Whatever it is, it's coming. It's they say handheld. I think it might be a telescopic controller. I don't know what it is, but OnePlus is doing something. So keep an eye out for whatever that is. Okay, and friendly reminder, we have our games of the month that we're playing on the Discord. So if you want to play them, come join the Discord. We have Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii, which I just beat. I think Odyssey is a better game. Is that controversial? I don't know. I like Odyssey a lot more than Super Mario Galaxy. I think I would go Odyssey, Super Mario 3D, or Super Mario 64, and then Super Mario Galaxy. I'm going to get in trouble. Anyways, that's our game of the month. Banjo-Kazooie Jiggies of Time, the Ocarina of Time ROM hack, is our ROM hack of the month. And Chrono Trigger is our game of the season. Do you want to play those games? Come join the Discord. You can play them with us. Jumping over to game news now, and there's a new ROM hack called Final Fantasy Tactics Advance Mason. And it seems obvious, but this is a ROM hack of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which is one of my favorite games. Apparently, this is an overhaul of the gameplay of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, so they've made a lot of different changes, a lot of different balancing things. They're doing a major rework of jobs, new jobs, or some jobs like Morpher and Beastmaster got some big changes, extensive changes to abilities, and a whole bunch more. This sounds like a very, very big ROM hack. I would probably check this out if it ever comes to retro achievements. I don't know. We'll see. I have beaten Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, so I could probably jump into this. I am curious, is there anybody else that loves Tactics Advance as much as I do? If you do, are you going to check this out? It's called Mason, if you want to play it. And last of our news for today. Apparently, Microsoft is going to be announcing, going with a new Xbox Game Pass tier that is time limited. So for those familiar with GeForce Now, they have time limited tiers on that. So I'm assuming that's why Microsoft is doing this. They've seen that and they're like, okay, GeForce Now is doing good and they're doing time limits. So I guess we can too. And so I guess that's going to be coming. Time limits for Game Pass. As to what and what's going to happen there, I don't know. But I suppose it's coming. Has Xbox released any good news in the last year? Okay, as always, we end off the newscast with the newscast Q&A. You can send in your questions to newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com, or there's a channel in Discord you can send in through there. We have one question this week. Comes in from Molson, and it was a joke question, but the RGDS is currently on sale on Anbernic's website at 1% off regular price. And the FOMO is real. Should I buy now or miss my chance? 1% is pretty big. I mean, 1% is pretty, yeah. I mean, what's the alternative? It goes up in price and they lower the storage and they lower the RAM and they lower all of that, like they did with all the other products. To answer this for a second. No, I don't like the RGDS at all. I don't care about the Rocknix thing. I don't care about with Gamma on it. I don't care about with the stock version of it. I think the RGDS is a pretty crappy product. So no, I don't recommend it at all. And it'll be like bottom of my tier list for the year. If we even have one this year. Is that the only device that's come out this year? What has come out this year? RGDS. Oh my. So it is theoretically the best and worst product of the year. I need to come to terms with that. There's been no devices this year. I don't think we're going to do one of those this year. A best handhelds of the year, worst handhelds of the year video. Yeah. You made me think about things, Molson. Thank you for that. No, don't buy the RGDS. Just save up a bit more and buy the Thor. By a bit more, I mean 3 times the amount. But you don't need to buy the RGDS. Just wait for a better version. And then you can buy that one. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. Like and sub to help the channel grow, and come join the Discord to play some games and do all that fun stuff. Join our membership if you want to support me, or Patreon if you want to support me through there. You have options. It's up to you. You can also listen to this podcast. It is a podcast on podcast apps. So if you don't want to see me and you want to hear me, you can do it through there as well. Appreciate you all for watching, and that's all from me, Halifax.